Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Addiction Solutions with Rozelle. So glad that you could join me today for our next show. Last week, we talked about the legal aspects as it connects to alcohol and gambling. This week, we're going to talk about drugs and sex. These addictions connected with legal are startling, especially with the drugs. We're going to start off with heroin, crack, cocaine, meth, and pills. I'm going to start at the bottom and talk about pills. Now, pills was an epidemic in this country a few years back. A lot of the pharmaceutical companies were sued and they paid out large settlements because they were dispensing large amounts of pills and actually forcing doctors to dispense large amounts of opiates. At one point in this country, you could go to any state and get pills, and then people would bring the pills back to their own state and sell them. So it just became outrageous. I mean, pills really superseded heroin because people were taking these pills, they were crushing them, doing all kind of things with them. And so what happened is the systems got smart and they connected the computers. So this means if I went to the doctor for my back, got pain pills, and then all of a sudden I go to another doctor for another ailment, he gave me pain pills. I go to the emergency room, they gave me pain pills. So now I have this abundance of pain pills. So by connecting the computers, the system knew that you had just got a prescription or he had just got medication. Now, what this did is it cut down on the fraud of people just going to different doctors, getting pills and things like this. Now, for our elderly generation, not necessarily all elderly, but people that had surgeries and not in knowledge of how this pills epidemic worked, they would go to the doctor, maybe have surgery, and then come home with a prescription. So maybe they would take one of the pills. I don't like it. Remember, that's experimentation. And they did not like the pill, and they just really put them in the medicine cabinet. And now the thing you should have done was discard them. Yes, flush the pills. Now you got young and nephews or grandchildren that come over to the house, and they're into the pill scene. They know what's going on with pills. So they come over to your house and all of a sudden they're rambling through the medicine cabinet. They spot the pills, the opiates. So they're going to do one or two things. They're going to either take them for themselves or they're going to sell them. So if you're really, really low, just say you got to taking the pills and all of a sudden your pain is gone, so you don't need them anymore. And so, back in the day, you could call the doctor's office to get the prescription refill. You can't do that anymore. You have to go in person to get the prescription. The doctor has to really examine you and determine if you need the pain medication any further. So they would tell you, Grandma, you need to call the doctor, set up an appointment, blah, blah, blah. But you say, well, honey, I don't know. I'm not feeling any pain. But, so that's the way to defeat that. So when we're looking at pills and the damage that it has caused this country, it's just been horrendous of the amount of people that have got hooked on pain medication. Started off, it was just the way it was supposed to be. This is a pain medication. We're not going to abuse it. So what we have to understand is these pills are addictive and they can be abused. So in the legal aspect, fraudulent prescriptions, selling the pills, that's illegal. So now we'll shift over a little bit to heroin, crack cocaine, and meth. All of these are illegal. And so if you are selling any one of these drugs, there's some heavy, heavy jail time that goes along with this. So now if you are a user of these drugs and you get caught, say, with a small amount, and you admit to being a user as opposed to being a distributor of the drug, then there's some things they can do in the court system to try to help you. One is drug court. That is something that can you know, give you some type of help, that you're really, just got caught up in this, and you don't want to be an addict and you want some help. And then they can refer you to treatment. And so treatment, they will go over how long you've been using, and, the rate that you used, how much a day, so on and so forth, to determine what type of treatment plan they need to develop for you. So now that we have covered the drugs, and I hope I've covered them. And then one more thing I want to add in here about the legal aspects is Medicare and Medicaid fraud. That is really on the doctors when they submit paperwork for services they did not render or things of this nature. So then that's a legal aspect of the drug scene. So now we're going to shift over slightly to sex. Now, with sex, we're looking at child porn, prostitution, sex trafficking. All these things now are prevalent in our society today. Before the computer, things were going on. We know that things were going on, but with the computer age, it was so much easier to photograph young children, put them on the system, and had people that was actually watching them. Now, prostitution is legal in Nevada. We'll cover that right quick before anybody starts shouting, what? Prostitution is legal. Okay. Other than that, it's illegal. However, it's still being done. So we're not going to be that naive to say, oh no, people are not, going to, to buy sex from prostitutes. We've got strip clubs, they're legal. So now we get down to a case I had as a protective services worker where the sheriff's department did a sting on a grandfather. And so they found out that he was watching child porn. The big problem with this was he had 2 young grandchildren in his house that he was responsible for. And so what the law enforcement was concerned about was his children, were his grandchildren on this actually computer, and were they involved in the child porn. So the legal individuals, the sheriff's department did their thing. They arrested him and charged him and blah, But me, as a protective service worker, I had to protect those children. So I had to get them out of the home and place them with individuals where they would be safe. So that was really the extent of sex. So sex trafficking is just wild, and we have to be aware of that. So in closing, I want you to go to Addiction Solutions with Rozelle, subscribe, tell your family and friends to subscribe, and I will see you next week. Hope you enjoyed the show, and have a great day.